is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sports Zone.
So far, so good here at Turner Field in Atlanta. Mother Nature is cooperating, and we expect to have the final spring training tilt of 2011 as the Braves play host to the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe back with you. I'm ready. Are you?
Absolutely, and the players better be ready, too, because I've heard there's already a fine in place if you're not up there swinging at the first pitch.
Let's get on to Washington, D.C., but first things first. Last year, the Braves had so many great feel-good stories, Joe Simpson, none bigger than perhaps Brandon Beachy, today's starter.
Well, first of all, Brandon Beachy was a guy that went undrafted, and the Braves signed him for a pittance, and he worked his way up through the organization. He's 24 years old. Last year started at Double-A, finished in Gwinnett in Triple-A, and went 5-1 overall in the minor leagues. He got called up to the Braves out of the instructional league when the Braves needed some help when Jurgens got hurt, and he pitched real well. He didn't have a win, but the first start he made was against the Phillies in Philadelphia, and lo and behold, he pitched great. He only gave up one earned run, and were it not for a couple of errors made behind him, he might have picked up a win. But he made a big enough impression that the Braves started thinking about him for the rotation this year. He comes to camp, outpitches everybody else, and wins the spot.
Love stories like that. There are a whole host of them on the 2011 Braves roster, and we'll see Beachy tune up for his first start of the season here this afternoon against the Twins. We finally wrap up the spring slate. The Twins are in town. Starting lineups at first pitch from chilly Turner Field coming right up. the spring schedule. The Twins are in town. Here's how Ron Gardenhire lines them up. It's pretty much their opening day lineup with the exception of Joe Mauer, who is not in there today. Drew Butera will catch and hit 8th for them. Both clubs will utilize the designated hitter. And the designated starter for the Braves today is Brandon Beachy.
24 years old, 6'3", 215, out of Kokomo, Indiana. There are his numbers for the spring. That means 16 innings, only 2 runs allowed. He walked 4, struck out 16.
And Denard Span just cost himself $50, even though it was a strike. And we are indeed underway. Span a good year, 3 homers, 58 RBIs, scored 85 runs. And in talking with Ron Gardenhire, that's something they've really tried to emphasize for the Twins this year, a little more speed in the first 2 spots of their batting order.
They've got it. They just use it. For Beachy, one of the things that Frank Wren said to me in spring training about him was that as great as he pitched last year in those 3 starts for Atlanta, he's actually taken another step forward this spring.
And Span, with a solid single, leads off the game for the Twins. Braves have a couple of regulars in the lineup this afternoon. Most notably, you see Martin Prado playing at third base. That'll be the game plan for Atlanta on days where Chipper Jones doesn't play. Prado will move from left to third. Nate McLouth at center. Freddie Freeman another start over at first. And now Nishi's up. Tsuyoshi Nishioka.
Nishi versus Beachy. Beachy's very quick to the plate, too. You'll notice out of the stretch, he's going to be tough to run on because his step is like a slide step to the plate. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. His key is like so many other young pitchers, and that's more strikes. Just don't walk a lot of guys. And this spring, 4 walks in 16 innings. That was pretty good.
What was so remarkable about Brandon's ascension to the major leagues was how fearlessly he pitched last year. I mean, you think about the importance of the game that he started last year against the Phillies. To do what he did was something to see.
And to be called up from instructionally, say, hey, we need you to start a game for us. In Philadelphia, by the way.
Beachy. And a throwing error from Brooks Conrad will chase Span over to third base. Everybody all out of sorts on that play on defense. And the Twins have them first and third with nobody out.
Well, Brandon reached for this ball and he just flat missed it. I mean, he was in a position to glove it, but it led to this throwing error by Brooks Conrad that allows Span to go to third base. And as we talked about Nishioka last night, he's like a lot of Japanese hitters, especially left-handed, that they're running out of the box as they hit the ball.
Infield hit E4, the scoring on the play. And that'll bring up Justin Morneau, the Twins' first baseman. I would imagine, partner, this is a real good sign for the Twins, playing back-to-back games, day game after the night game.
And it may seem like a small thing, but it's a big step for him. Getting as much playing time as he can here this last week in an effort to prove to the doctors that he's ready to go.
And if you don't know the story about Morneau, he missed 81 games last year with a concussion. And it goes without saying, this man is a huge part of their offensive lineup.
Twins are going to be good again. That American League Central is going to be tightly contested, I think.
Morneau pops it up. Matt Young's in left. Span thinks about tagging and goes nowhere. There's the first out. Beachy gets Morneau. Now Jim Thomey's coming up.
It's one of the examples of why Matt Young made this ball club and how well schooled he is on the fundamentals. Got himself in a good throwing position when he caught the ball and hit the cutoff man. Make sure the guy at first base didn't advance. Coming to the baseball, so he had his momentum to the plate. He knows he's got to do the little things right, and that was one case.
"25 home runs last year for Jim Thomey, the designated hitter. He's closing in on 600 homers for his career. And Beachy going right after him, ahead 0-2.
No surprise there. I think, like you said, Chip, that was one of the surprises when we saw him pitch for the first time in Philadelphia, was that we thought, okay, first major league start, no major league experience at all, and he's probably going to walk the ballpark and be scared to pitch to the Phillies, and that was not the case at all. And I think given the forecast we had yesterday, we're lucky to be playing today.
What were we talking about before the game last night? The forecast called for a big red blob over the confines of Turner Field.
And it's chilly. Game time temperature 55, but it feels a lot colder. The wind blowing straight in. Good changeup. Last night, Thomey struck out against Peter Moylan on a real good changeup.
Pitchers looked sharp last night. Everybody worked an inning. Another pop-up. Will this one stay in play? It's into the Twins dugout. Thomey stays alive. Ron Gardenhire's led the Twins to playoffs 6 times in the last 9 years. But they haven't been able to get past the Yankees in many of those playoff confrontations.
Brandon's made some good pitches here. Good curveball. Then he threw a good fastball in on his hands that he fought off out of play. Now he's got to make a 3-2 pitch to Thomey. What's it going to be?
Shioka runs, and Thomey down on strikes, and it was the changeup.
It was. And a beauty. Didn't throw it for a strike. He just made it look like a strike coming in, and then it dies at the plate. And Thomey's right over the top of it.
So on the strikeout pitch, Nishioka steals second. Twins have him second and third now with 2 outs, and Delman Young is up. Good spring for Young after a terrific year last year for Minnesota. And a fly ball to right. And how about Brandon Beachy? All kinds of first inning trouble, but keeps the Twins off the scoreboard. And the Braves are coming up. Trouble. Braves are coming up for the first time. And 3 of their first 9 hitters are everyday players, with Freddie Freeman hitting third over at first base. Martin Prado, his customary leadoff spot, having a terrific spring, and they'll face right-hander Scott Baker, the Twins.
Scott Baker's out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Good-sized guy, 6'4", 220. He's in his 5th year. Last year, you see his numbers, he was 12-9. And the year before that, he was 15-9 for the Twins, in case you don't know much about him. His career record, 55-42 in the big leagues. Good winning percentage, and a guy you don't hear much about.
Martin Prado. Quickly down 0-2. Martin started the game last night with a clean single. 1 for 3 was his night's work.
Last night we showed you a picture for the Braves. I believe it was Sullivan, Richard Sullivan, who was working from the far third base side of the pitching rubber, and you see Baker doing the opposite. Baker, a right-handed pitcher, and he's working from the first base side. Again, just creating a different angle.
One leather-lunged fan is enjoying the game so far. Hear him?
Yep, rested up all winter for that one.
Shallow center, and Denard Span will put it away. And Martin Prado's the first out. Here's the rest of the defensive alignment. Alongside Denard for Minnesota today, Kadire in right, Young in left. New middle infield for Minnesota. Valencia and Justin Morneau man the corners. Normally you'd see Joe Mauer behind the plate, but they want to be careful with his knees in this final spring training game for Minnesota. Nate McLeod hitting .295 this spring. I think it's safe to say, Joe, the seeds of this resurgence for him began in September last year. When he came back from the concussion, he really was a different offensive player.
Yeah, he was. He was swinging the bat pretty good when he came back from Gwinnett. Had ironed out some things. I always remember those. He hit a couple of homers when he came back. He got robbed of a couple, too, especially the one in Florida that would have been a grand slam. Ball's caught over the fence.
So at least for now, the question of who the opening day center fielder for the Braves will be has been answered. That's going to be Nate. Hitting behind Prado and in front of Chipper Jones come tomorrow. Pretty good place to be sitting, isn't it?
I think it's a wonderful spot for Nate. You know, and I think it was his job to lose without it having been, that wasn't said, but I think it was his to lose because the Braves really wanted Jordan Schaefer to play a lot. He needs to get a lot of at-bats coming back from his injury.
Center of the diamond. Nishoka makes the play. And McLeod pops out.
And Jordan didn't have as good a spring offensively as he would like, and Nate played well, so it made the decision a lot easier.
So here's Freddie Freeman. You know, he's going to have 747 sized butterflies tomorrow, his first big league opening day. A shot in the left center field.
Get used to that, folks. This guy's a gap-to-gap hitter. He's going to hit a lot of doubles. For those of you that are expecting him to hit 30 homers, you can quit hoping for that. I don't think you'll see that, but you might see him hit 40 doubles this year. I don't think that's too much to expect. Well, look how he stayed down on that ball. Drives it to the opposite field.
So the Braves have a chance to break through in the first inning. And it's Eric Hinske, the DH today for the Braves. Where's that fan sitting?
I don't know. He can't be very old. Is it a little kid?
I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's loud.
Mm-hmm.
One ball, two strikes.
As you've noticed, Baker's not going to overpower you. He's somewhere in the high 80s to low 90s with his fastball. He's got a good curveball and a changeup. He's got to spot his fastball real well, though.
He did with that pitch, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman doubles. He's left stranded at the end of our first scoreless inning. In part by Honda Lawn and Garden. They're having a good time on a chilly day. And how ironic, we're playing the Twins. And it's always a treat to talk to the fellows down in the dugout. And there he is, man that's really loving every minute of this beautiful March weather.
No, I'm not.
Come on, JJ.
No, I'm not. It's too cold for me.
You're not the only one.
How you feeling? Give us an update.
Feeling good. Playing long toss today. Flag round too. The plan is to throw a bullpen tomorrow.
You expect that to go well?
Yes, I feel really good. Actually, I felt really good since the next day when I woke up. Was able to move and do everything. They put me through some tests and I passed them, and I feel good. We're just trying to be careful and be smart about it.
I know you are probably Exhibit A of folks who want to put last year behind them.
Yes. I've been having fun the whole spring training till the last start I had. Just trying to keep the same mentality and same spirit and try to start this season with a bang.
So if everything goes well with your bullpen session. 1 second.
Kadire drives it to right.
You would still take your turn in Milwaukee. Is that true?
I hope so. I don't know what they have planned. Just trying to be taking it day by day right now. And first thing is to have a good session tomorrow and see what's going to happen.
I guess you're ready for opening day.
Yes, I am. I'm really excited. I'm ready to go.
Now, the hitters always say spring training's about a week too long. Is it the same for you pitcher type fellas?
It gets a toll to you when you start waking up early too much. You know, I'm not a morning guy. Actually, I'm not a morning guy then. That's the only problem I have with spring training, to wake up early.
Well, guess what? We got over 4 or 5 day games on the first road trip of the year, too.
I know. You guys may see my eyes being sleepy.
Oh, okay. Danny Valencia is the hitter. First camp with Freddie Gonzalez. From a pitcher's perspective, what, if anything's been different?
I do a lot of PFP, working on the small things about the game, trying to make the plays who really don't happen often in the game, and try to get better on those and bomb plays and stuff like that. It's like it's not really that important, like if you really see it from the outside, but when you play in this game, those small things can help you win a ball game.
And PFP, for those of you that don't know, is pitcher fielding practice.
Yes.
So a lot of covering first base and fielding bunts and doing all your defensive work.
Well, it's a good way to stay warm, though, JJ. You got to remember there's some good parts about PFP, right?
Like what?
Staying warm.
Yeah, I know you need to get used to it.
I love it.
Get familiar with the bounce plays and stuff like that, but it's not really not that fun when you keep doing it every week.
Well, good luck with the side session tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And I have one more question for you, and that has to do with your rotation. You guys appear to be a real close-knit group. You're very solid, all looking to have big years. And tell us a little bit about your impressions of this guy, Brandon Beachy, and how he fits in.
He fits in perfectly. We one of these guys who throw a lot of strike. He's not scared to pitch for contact, and he has a good tempo on the mound. He just take the ball, get on the rubber again, and he's really aggressive. I think if you see all the guys in the rotation, we all like that. We get the ball, get on the mound right away, and be aggressive.
Well, he's certainly done that in this ball game, JJ. A couple of strikeouts for him, and hopefully many more of those for you when you get back to the mound.
Thank you, guys.
Go inside and get warm now. You've done your duty.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Jair Jurgens. And 2 outs for Drew Butera. What's plan B if JJ has any kind of discomfort tomorrow?
Mike Minor, I think, is already the guy that's been plugged in if there is a plan B to take that spot in the rotation.
Well struck, but to straightaway center. And a 1-2-3 second for Brandon Beachy.
Any players that you got close with, you know, guys that
I can stop you right there. I can stop you right there because the opposing team, the West, I was on the East, of course, being from Georgia. The West, the first baseman was Freddie Freeman, and he and I are the two first basemen in it. So I get to first base, my first at bat, after getting the base hit, and Freddie started kicking some dirt on me. He didn't even say, "What's up, man?" or nothing like that. He's kicking dirt. I'm looking down. I was like, "This man really kicking dirt on me right now?"
And Brave slugger Jason Heyward takes us home to meet family and friends and to tell his unbelievable story of how he got to the big leagues. It's At Home with Jason Heyward tomorrow morning at 11:30, all part of Braves opening day on Sports South. And as if on cue, Jason joins us from the Braves dugout today. Brooks Conrad, a little shallow pop fly into center for the first time. That's a true story? Freddie did that to you? Jason, Freddie did that to you? He kicked dirt on your shoes in the All-Star game?
Yeah, that's a very true story. He most definitely kicked some dirt on me, and that's where we got acquainted.
How did you respond?
I just asked him, I was like, "Man, what's up with that? You know, we're playing on TV right now in front of a lot of scouts, a lot of college coaches, and on national television, and you're kicking dirt on me. That's all you got for me."
And he replied?
And he replied, "Yeah, man."
And now you're best of friends, huh?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Now, I know you had to show him the ropes a little bit last year when he came up, and he was a little nervous about buses and planes and charters and where to sit and everything. You got any funny stories about that?
No. I didn't have to show you anything. And then anything that happened last year when we were up here, that's not the good stuff. The good stuff is all in the minor leads.
Oh.
But I can't tell you those stories.
Okay.
I got to keep those. Got to keep those between he and I.
Oh, that'll be in the book in about 20 years.
No, I don't know.
What did you learn most about yourself after your rookie season?
Hard work pays off. The things about baseball, you always expect failure because that's a part of it. That's been a part of it since I started playing the game. I had the time of my life, though, man. It was a great experience. Great city, hometown. We had a family-oriented team, family-oriented clubhouse, so that just made it better. That made it awesome. You wanted to come to the field every day. I remember early in the season, I guess it was like the second month of the season, and Chip was like, "Jay, hey, can't wait to get to the field." And, you see all the older guys kind of straggling in a little bit. I'm one of the first guys there every day, and that lasted all about till August. And I started showing up a little later to the field.
You became a vet pretty quick.
I became a vet pretty quick in that aspect.
Joe Mathers, the hitter. How's the thumb?
I'm good to go. I'll be in the lineup opening day. I'm ready to go. I feel very confident in everything I've got going on right now. My body feels good, and I'm ready to go have a season and be out on the field as much as possible.
I've been watching you swing, too. Looks like you're swinging free and easy, and certainly looks like you're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. No, very, very confident. Didn't have any issues in the offseason with working out or swinging the bat. A lot of quality work in. That's something I learned, Joe. You got to put a lot of quality work in, but don't overdo it. 650 plate appearances, that'll do it for you. It's like riding a bike after that.
Exactly. And Larry Parrish, your new hitting coach. I mean, Terry Pendleton's still with the ball club. He's the first base coach, but how's your relationship with Larry started off?
I mean, for me, it's good. For me, being in the organization, coming out of high school, I guess when you get drafted high, they kind of tend to let you do your own thing for the most part, working your way up at the same time, but just kind of guide you through. And I feel like that's what it's been for me, since I've been in this organization, and it's no different now. A great group of people all the way up, and LP's no different. He notices what we do right, when we feel good about ourselves and our swing, and he just tries to keep us on that track.
Jason, can't wait to get started, buddy. We'll see you on the plane and at the ballpark tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Can't wait either.
Thanks.
All right, Jason Heyward, and we're still scoreless. Atlanta, and we invite you to get your tickets today for opening weekend. And don't miss the Avett Brothers free post-game concert. That's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines after the Braves and Phillies play Sunday, April 10th. For tickets, visit Braves.com/Avett Brothers. Strike after strike for Brandon Beachy. And Freddie Freeman takes care of Alexi Casilla for the first out.
Beachy makes it look real simple. I mean, he's got a nice, easy, fluid motion. He collects himself at the top of his windup so that he's not rushing, and then it just seems like everything just is all directed at balance-wise right at home plate. He's not falling all over the place, squares up to the plate to field his position. Ball comes flying out of his hand.
As you said, an undrafted free agent. And Gene Kearns, the Braves scout that saw something in Brandon Beachy, and 3 short years later, he's a starting pitcher in a championship caliber rotation.
You'd be hard pressed to find another major league club that'll start the season with 2 undrafted players on their 25-man roster, but the Braves will have 2.
And a line drive by Span gives him a 2-for-2 day today.
He's ready. The other undrafted free agent would be Matt Young, who's playing left field today.
Here's Nishioka. Like Nate McLouth's spot in the Braves batting order, the Twins, I'm sure, love the idea of a former Japanese League batting champion hitting in front of the Mauers and the Morneaus in their starting lineup of 9.
It's not often you put together any kind of hitting streak in spring training, but Nishioka had a 13-game streak snapped just before they came to Atlanta.
Runner goes. And McLouth handles the line drive. Span back to first with 2 out. And online right now at FoxSportsSouth.com, we caught up with Chipper Jones during Sunday's game. And if you missed it, you're going to want to hear why he says the Braves have their swagger back. We invite you to check it out. It's only at FoxSportsSouth.com.
He had a good spring, taking today off and get ready for tomorrow.
And with 2 outs, Justin Morneau will hit. Talked a lot about how kind the baseball hitting gods have been to Justin Morneau in his career. Don't forget, this guy's a terrific defensive player too. He made just 1 error last year at first base. So he was missed from the Twins lineup in more ways than just his plate production.
Yeah, it was the first year in 5 that he hadn't driven in at least 100 runs. And even missing half the season, he still hit 18 homers and drove in 56.
In a park that wasn't real friendly to all of their hitters.
No. Including that guy, Joe Mauer, who only hit 9 last year, and part of the reason was the expanse of target field.
Another off-speed pitch from Brandon Beachy and another strikeout for him. That's 3 in the game, and he's worked 3 scoreless innings against the Minnesota Twins. Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by McDonald's. Chip and Joe back with you at home in Atlanta. Still no score. Braves and Twins wrapping up the spring slate. And that man looks like he's more than happy to wrap it up as well. That's Tim Hudson downstairs in the Braves dugout. Happy New Year, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Comeback player of the year and 17 wins. Good work.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice being healthy again. And obviously you don't want to be in position to be comeback player of the year, but it was nice, knowing that all the hard work, paid off.
Some of that comes in handy, too, when guys like Chris Medlin have the same thing happen to them, and they can fall back on people like you and give them some good moral support and tell them exactly what they're facing, too.
Yeah, it is. It was, I had Mike Hampton was a guy that was going through Tommy John whenever I had mine, and he was telling me what to expect. And, Medlin was, it's the same thing I can do for him. Our time frame is probably going to be just about the same. He should be back the last month of the season this year. And, his rehab's going just as good as mine or better. He's looking really good.
It may sound like a strange question, but was having Tommy John surgery at this stage in your career maybe a blessing for longevity for you?
Well, I think it was. I definitely felt good afterwards. There's no question about that. At that point in my career, getting that elbow fixed and then having a year to take off and do nothing but work out and get your shoulder back strong again and just recharge yourself for 1 year. I think it was pretty evident that it helped me out a lot. Now it's just one of those things where I just need to maintain that.
Chip asked Jair Jurgens a good question a minute ago, Tim, and I'll ask you the same one. And it has to do with hitters always complain that spring training's a week too long. You threw 20 innings. Is that enough for you?
It is definitely. It is enough. I think for pitchers, if we come into camp in shape, good throwing shape, you probably only need about 4 or 5 starts. I would say. Instead of going out there and pitching 2 innings your first start, you can go out there and crank it up to 3 or 4. I would say if you come in shape. A lot of guys, they'll come in and use spring training to get in shape, but I think now, nowadays, guys come in really good shape, and I think that last week of spring is pretty much just kind of a, going through the motions. All right, enough already. Let's get this thing going for real games. And, I think I can speak for a lot of people.
Just foul off the bat of J.C. Boscan, the Braves catcher today.
You like your team?
I really do like our team a whole lot. I think we were really good last year, but I think we're even better this year. The group of guys that we have, it's a lot of fun to be around. We had good chemistry last year. I think this year is even better. We bring in Dan Ogla. He's going to help not only on the field but off the field. He fits in really well. I think our bullpen is going to be great. Obviously, there's that question mark at the end of the bullpen after losing Billy. But I think we have, any 2 or 3 guys down there that can, we have confidence in nailing down that 9th inning. So, I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited about Beachy, seeing what he can do for a full year. I think that kid's going to be really, really good. So that's good. Only going to make our rotation better. And, I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do this year. If we can stay healthy, things are going to be looking pretty good for us.
Popped up center of the diamond. And charging it at short is Casilla, and he makes a good play.
Well, tell the folks at home what you see in Beachy that makes you like him so much, and why you think he'll be successful.
Well, I think that last year was pretty evident. He came up here. He pitched a couple of our biggest games of the year. A kid that was in AAA and probably really didn't think there was a chance in the world that he was going to come pitch in the big leagues last year. And he came up, and he just showed just unbelievable heart, some guts. He wasn't scared, and we threw him out there in Philadelphia independent race last week of the season and said, all right, kid, show us what you got. And he just went out there, man. He just bowed his neck and said, all right, let's go. Give me the ball. And I loved it. I loved what I saw from him right from the start. And, coming in the spring this year, he looked very hungry and very ready to go, very ready to win a job here in the big leagues. And for me, those are the kind of guys that you want on your team. He wasn't even drafted. He was a non-drafted free agent.
Right.
We signed him. He worked his way through the minor leagues. And, he's very hungry, and those are the kind of guys you want on your team.
Martin just missed a home run. Now he's got to hustle to make it safely to second, and he does. I know, Tim, you're looking forward to a few more plays like that from Mr. Prado this year, too.
Yeah, I'm excited about what he's going to do, man. He's looked really good in left field, too. He's, he's an athlete. He's a baseball player. He's a gamer. And, he does everything right. He does everything how you want your players to play, and he wants to win. He's very passionate about this game.
You get the home opener against the Phillies. What excitement does that generate even for a veteran like yourself to pitch the home opener at Turner Field?
It's exciting. It's an honor. Obviously, everybody talks about opening day and everybody wants to pitch opening days, there's a lot of honor with that as well. But, I love pitching at home. I love pitching in front of our crowd. Our fans are awesome. Hopefully the energy is going to be a little better at our home opener than it is right here in a rain-soaked day. But I suspect it will be. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously the Phillies, man, that's probably who we're going to be competing with most of the year for our division, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. They have their challenges already with some health issues, but they're still going to be a good club. Their rotation they put together is pretty good.
Yeah.
And but having said that, I'll take our rotation over anybody's in the game.
Don't have to take back seat to anybody, Tim. You guys have been solid.
Yeah, it's we're not going to have the press and the fanfare that they've gotten, but I don't think there's a team in baseball that is looking forward to the Braves rolling into town regardless of which one of our 5 pitchers we're going to put on the mound.
On a lighter note, and I know how much you like to have fun and have a few pranks somewhere along the way, but you're going to have several guys that are on the team that have never been to an opening day before, and most notably Matt Young, who's never been in the big leagues before. Got anything planned?
Not yet. Those guys, man, I'll tell you what, they're so excited about being here, and, I don't want to make them pass out. I don't want to get them too nervous. I mean, if there's, they're liable to faint or something running out to the line for their, when they announce their names. But, I'm really excited for Matty. I mean, he's another one of those guys that you pull for, and, when he and Hicksy both made our club, everybody's really excited, especially for Matt. I mean, he's, everybody that's played with him throughout the minor leagues, they said, man, he's a guy that you love and you want to pull for him and you want him to do well. And, everybody was smiling when they found out, he cracked our club. And, I don't know that we'll do too much to him this first week of the season, but, I mean, if you know me, there's going to be some things happen throughout the year that, that they'll at least expect it.
We'll stay tuned.
Yeah, we got that long West Coast trip at the end of the month.
You got to do something to break up the monotony.
Well, Tim, congratulations on a wonderful comeback year last year and the 17 wins. And more than that, congratulations to you and Kim on the great work you and the Hudson Family Foundation do, too. That's almost as important, I guess, for baseball fans as well. So we appreciate that, too.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate y'all having me. Let's have a fun year.
Sounds good.
See you on the plane.
That's right.
He's ready.
Yeah. 20 innings. Gave up only 3 runs. He walked a few more guys than normal. He walked 9 and struck out 15. And he said with each subsequent start, he kept saying, well, there's a few things I'm happy with most of it, but a few things I still got to work on. And he kept whittling on the things he had to work on during the spring. So you're right. He's ready to go.
And Tim slated to pitch the final game of the series against the Nationals. And Nate McLeod walks.
Good at bat. Fouled off a bunch of pitches. Earned that walk.
First of the day issued by Baker. And now Freddie Freeman a chance to put the Braves on the scoreboard here with 2 down. Anton Richardson will pinch run for McLeod. And Freddie upset. He just missed it. Young calls off Casilla, and that will retire the side. We are through 3 innings in Atlanta. And still no score. The Florida Marlins. We invite you to bring the family to Turner Field and save. Value Day tickets must be purchased in advance at Braves.com/Value Days. Braves have a big shift on for Jim Thome, and they have a new right side of the infield. As Brandon Beachy goes to work in his 4th inning for the Braves. He's looked good today.
Only given up 3 hits. 2 came in the 1st inning, and one of them was that swinging bunt by Nishioka that just got past him.
Give you the defensive changes in a moment.
Kind of funny, though, as they were making that defensive shift, Freddie Gonzalez, when he does put a shift on for a left-handed hitter, he'll move the third baseman over to the right side of the diamond and leave his shortstop in place. So Tyler Pasternicki, one of the young players that came along for these 2 games from the minor league camp, had just gone in to play second.
Easy play at first, and that's Brooks Conrad with the first baseman's mitt.
So when Martin Prado's moving over for the shift, Pasternicki just couldn't figure out where are you going? And Martine's kind of motioning for him, move over, for the shift, and he's looking out into right field. Pasternaki's looking at right field like, what? Where? I just got in the game. We're doing what?
Now they've got it all straight. Back at normal position for Delvin Young.
A lot of the Brave staff talking about this kid Pasternaki, Tyler Pasternaki, as maybe, outside of Alex Gonzalez, maybe the best fielding shortstop in the organization. Great hands, good range, good arm. Came with Alex Gonzalez from Toronto in the Yunel Escobar deal.
Beachy's been very, very efficient in this game. That was his 55th pitch. He's thrown 38 strikes.
Well, as Jurgen said, he's not afraid to pitch to contact. That'll keep the pitch count down.
And that one muscled up the middle by Young for the 4th Minnesota hit. They've all been singles. And Michael Cuddyer is coming up. There's a familiar face. And a wonderful honor for Bert Blyleven. He will be a part of the 2011 Baseball Hall of Fame class at Cooperstown.
Best curveball I ever saw. I told him today that I felt partially responsible for him getting in.
Bert Blyleven debuted at 19 in the major leagues. 3,701 career strikeouts and 287 wins.
Jillion shutouts, too. His induction is a little late coming, I thought. Compare his numbers to some people who are in the Hall of Fame. And a real character, too. Great teammate, according to a lot of guys that I played with that later played with him, or a little bit later on, it just raved about him and how fun he was to have on their club.
And a guy that's given back an awful lot to the game, too. I know you're not a big fan of the World Baseball Classic, but Bert Blyleven served as the pitching coach for the Netherlands team that pulled off a couple of big upsets in the last WBC.
Yep.
So, wonderful honor for Bert Blyleven. Robbie Alomar will join him in the Hall of Fame class, and I'm really excited about our colleague Dave Van Horn, the voice of the Florida Marlins. He was the Ford Frick Award winner. And a terrific pitch strikes out Cuddyer. That's the 4th strikeout for Beachy today.
Big hook there that froze Cuddyer. I think Michael thought this might have been a little bit high, but not so. Good call by Toby Basner, our home plate umpire.
Well, you mentioned you feel partially responsible for Bert Blyleven going to the Hall of Fame. Right?
Yes.
Do you know what your numbers were against him?
I know they weren't very good.
You had 2 hits against him.
See? If it was 2 for 2, it'd be all right. Or even 2 for 5 would be okay. But no.
Keep going.
That's what I thought.
But he only struck you out 3 times. That's the good news.
See?
But you say he had the best curveball you ever saw, and you played an era where that was a big pitch, not the slider.
Yeah, Don Sutton had a great curveball too. Don threw his a little differently. He had a kind of a knuckle curve type setup on his release. Bert's was more traditional, but Bert's was 12-6, straight down and hard.
Valencia with a liner into center. And he makes hay on an 0-2 pitch. And they're at first and second for Butera in the Minnesota 4th.
So what was it? 2 for what?
2 for 11.
Oh, okay. I thought it was even worse than that.
No. And like I said, he only punched out 3 times.
It's almost 1 every 4 at bats. Huh?
Yeah, but he had 3,701 of them.
Yeah.
He only got you 3 times.
There you go.
But I agree with you. I'm thrilled for Bert Blyleven, and was long overdue. But he's in. And that'll be a speech for the ages, I'll bet, when he makes the induction presentation. It was funny. Earlier today, he was over in the radio booth talking to Don Sutton about the induction ceremonies. There actually is an orientation where you go to Cooperstown early. They give you a tour of the museum and talk about the upcoming induction date and how it's going to happen, what happens. And Bert looked at Don and he says, I've already been told that being a rookie, right away you are to be seen and not heard. One ball, two strikes. Running that pitch count up just a little bit here this inning. His fourth. Just missed the corner. Now a full count. With 2 outs, the runners will be moving. And a shot to third. And no play. All hands are safe. So Butera reaches on an error by Martin Prado at third base, and the bases are loaded for Alexi Casilla. Second error of the day charged to the Braves. They had one last night, and they've actually committed more errors than they have games played this spring. Now, naturally, when you've got a lot of subs coming in late in the game, there are going to be a lot of players that make errors that are not going to make your team, by players who are not going to make your team. That's 34 this spring in one area that had been discussed as if there is a weakness on this ball club, is it team defense? And the errors do keep coming. And it prolongs the inning, an inning that already has seen Beachy's workload get a little heavier. And now no place to put the shortstop, Alexi Casilla, who's quickly down a strike. I believe there were only 2 teams last year that made more errors than the Braves in the National League, so they've got to tighten that up. Well, Beachy pitched around an error in the first inning. Let's see if he can pitch around this one and send it to the bottom of the inning still without a score. Look at that. Lodged right on the ledge. Who's got the key to the window? His off-speed pitch has been dandy all day, and Beachy strikes out Casilla. The Twins leave the bases loaded. And indeed, we do go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and still no score. They're brought to you in part by Honda Lawn and Garden. There's the best seat in the house in Atlanta. And Eric Hinsky starts things off and is down a strike.
Funny in between innings happening. As you know, if you've come to Turner Field, you know they have a in-game entertainment where you get to pick the song you want to hear. And there were choices today between Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and Miley Cyrus. And I don't remember the name of the song, but fans voted for Miley Cyrus, and Eric Hinsky had introduced the songs on the big screen. And he says, "You've chosen such and such song by Miley Cyrus," and then he started laughing, and he big grin on his face. "One of my favorite songs." And he just bent over laughing.
Peter Moylan, you guys aren't going to give Eric any grief about that, are you?
Not after the fly out. No, he just popped up. I think I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Yeah, maybe we'll save that for later.
Yeah, I think so.
How are you, Peter?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Ready to roll?
Absolutely. Never been readier. Is that a word? Readier?
It is now.
It is now. Australian Dictionary. Look it up.
You got in extra special shape this offseason, huh?
Extra special?
Yeah.
I got in pretty good shape. I was. Key is now trying to keep it off with with all the spreads that we got around this place. It's going to be interesting. You know, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of eating chicken and broccoli and bok choy and asparagus and all that sort of good stuff.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, no kidding, right? But yeah, it's off now, and hopefully I can hopefully keep it off because I feel really strong. I feel good. Everything's where it needs to be, and I feel freer on the hill too, which is surprising.
That is an interesting point. You looked great last night. Had good off-speed pitch working too, to Tommy especially.
I think I've worked out my changeup this spring. It's as you guys know, it's been a work in progress.
Dave, isn't that the name?
Yeah, is he still called Dave?
Well, you guys can call it what you want, but we'll see. We'll see if it lives up to the name. If it's not very good, then might have to come with something else. But no, I'm happy with the way it feels. I feel confident throwing it in any count, righty or lefty, and with my slider as well. I'm really excited how the spring ended up.
Good. You've got some new mates down there in the bullpen. How's that working out?
Really good. Scotty Linebrink is one of the best. He's as country can get. So you got a Texan and an Australian trying to translate for each other. It's hilarious. And yeah, Georgie's been great. He's obviously brought a different kind of personality to that pen, more serious personality, which I think we need sometimes to pull us into shape. But obviously he's had a great career, and hopefully he can get back to some form.
And now you're a veteran, and you've got the two kids at the back end.
I keep reading that. The veteran right-hander, Pete Moylan. I'm like, really? Have I reached that stage already? I'm a veteran.
Well, you go 87 and 85 in appearances in back-to-back years. Heck yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll take it. I'm a veteran. But, yeah, I call them the young guns. They're down there. They're going to do what they always do, I guess. They just throw 100 and get people out.
Matt Young's the hitter. And down a strike.
Young guns talk a lot about what they learned from Billy Wagner last year, how influential he was for them. What about for a veteran like yourself?
Billy, you know what? He was really, really good. He came into this club and made everyone feel comfortable. Showed everyone why he's been around and been as good as he has for so long. You know, his work ethic. It's a funny story. We're in August and he's out in the bullpen and he's trying to work on a split. And I said, what are you doing? You've been doing this for 15 years and now you want to invent a pitch for the last month of the season? Let's go. Come on. You throw a million. Just throw it from your earlobe and let it go. Come on. So, no, but he's always working and he brought that sort of work ethic to the rest of the guys. And we were running during BP, which we never used to do. And, you know, it's just work ethic. He's the man. He's still on our roster, isn't he?
He may be off the roster now. I'm not sure. Maybe by opening day.
I've got to give him a call, see if I can change his mind.
Maybe get his tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow in D.C.
All right, fellas. Thanks.
Have a good year.
Peter Moylan. And we are through 4 innings with no score. Honda Lawn and Garden game summary. I imagine Roger McDowell and Freddie Gonzalez thrilled with what they got from Brandon Beachy today. Had to be. Shutout. 5 innings of shutout baseball. And he didn't walk anybody. And struck out Casilla with the bases loaded there to end his outing. Took care of business himself, but he had an assortment of pitches working, including a changeup and a breaking ball, but mostly just pounding the strike zone with his fastball to get ahead. That was the key for him today, and hopefully that'll carry over to his first start in Milwaukee. And he will give way to veteran right-hander Rodrigo Lopez, a man that was also in competition for that 5th starter spot for the Braves. Now, Lopez didn't have the type spring that he needed to have to earn a spot, but he said afterwards, he said all the right things, and that is, I'm where I want to be. I knew that I had a chance to come in and make the Braves ball club, and if I've got to go to AAA for a time and wait for my turn, I'll try to do my best down there and be ready to go. So he took a real good attitude about it. Rodrigo, a native of Mexico, has pitched in the big leagues with the Padres, the Orioles, the Phillies, and last year in Arizona, where he went 7-16 in 33 starts. Ed Lucas joins him on the diamond. Ed will play third base. The day done for Martin Prado today. And the 1, 2, 3 hitters for Minnesota are coming up. And this guy Lopez has had, Joe, some very productive major league seasons as a starting pitcher. Yeah, double digits in wins with Baltimore, I know, in back-to-back seasons. 14-game winner one year, 15 the next. And I don't have it in front of me, his start by start last year from his work in Arizona, but it seems to me he pitched a great game against Atlanta. That may have caught the attention of the Braves. Oh, thank you. May 15th, 8 innings. Gave up 1 run. And beat the Braves 11-1. So having a couple of guys like Mike Minor and Rodrigo Lopez and maybe Julio Teheran at AAA, what an embarrassment of riches for the Braves as far as starting pitching is concerned, should the unthinkable happen to one of their starting 5 men. Yeah, there is real good depth, not only in candidates for a spot in the rotation, but also for the bullpen. Popped up and playable for Lucas, and he makes a fine catch near the stands. And Denard Span retired for the first time today. And again, playing in a ballpark he's not familiar with, doesn't know exactly how much room he has, but he played that perfectly. Here's Nishioka, the Twins' second baseman, who's 1 for 2 today. Bouncer to first, and Conrad handles that cleanly. And 2 are out.
Fans bring the kids to Ultimate Kids Day, April 9th and 10th against the Phillies and get free Scouts Alley games, museum tours, and a pregame parade around the field. Purchase Braves single-game tickets in advance and save $3 on each ticket. For tickets, visit Braves.com/kidsday. First home series of the year, and it's against the Phillies.
Love Kids Day at the ballpark.
Good idea to bring your glove. You're sitting over here behind the dugout somewhere, too. As a woman just discovered, she got hit by that foul ball a minute ago, but seemed to be okay as she was walking out under her own power. That's good to see.
One ball, one strike to Justin Morneau. 2 outs, bases clear, and he skies one down the left field line. And that is out of play. Well, we get started tomorrow afternoon. Braves and the Nationals at Nationals Park. They're expecting a sellout.
I think Washington will be a much improved ball club, and I think they will finish ahead of the Mets.
Really?
I do.
Well, we'll delve into that a little deeper when the Braves come up in the bottom of our 5th inning. And that's happening right now as we remain scoreless.
You play the game like you're supposed to, no matter what that scoreboard is. You know, if we lose, when the people leave, they're gonna say, you know what, they battled. They gave it all they have.
And coming up tomorrow on Sports South, it's Braves opening day, and we're starting things off right with new Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez. We hope you'll enjoy his amazing story told in his own words. The premiere of In My Own Words, Freddie Gonzalez, is tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, all part of Braves opening day on Sports South. And Fred Hickman and the guys from Braves Live will be alongside from Nationals Park. And we can't wait to get started, nor can the starter for Game 2 of the season on Saturday. Wait, that's Big Red, Tommy Hansen.
What's going on, guys?
How you feeling?
Feel good, ready to go. You know, had that little back thing that was going on, but it's feeling better now. So ready to get up to Washington and get that first one, get the first start going.
Lower back, upper back?
Yeah, it was on my lower back. Just a little stiff, but it's feeling better now. So
you had a very extensive and different workout program for the offseason too. Tell us about that and how it paid off for you.
Yeah, it was a little different. Just went back to California and worked out there. Really liked it. You know, there's some good trainers out there and stuff like that. So I think when I went into spring training, I felt, you know, ahead of where I normally am, you know, going into spring training. So my arms felt good. My bodies felt really good, you know, besides my back. But, I mean, I felt like I was ready going into spring training. My body felt really good and strong.
Was that an effort to maybe have a little more stamina at the end of the year? Was that your goal?
I think just all around, just all around, try to get stronger, try to get in better shape, and really try to focus on my back. I try to do a lot of back exercises, but I'm still doing those, but it just started bothering me a little bit. But yeah, just try to get stronger and come to spring training ahead of where I normally do.
I know we've talked with Don Sutton a lot about the mindset of starting pitchers. You can only control what you can do on the mound. The addition of Dan Uggla ought to make you feel a little more comfortable knowing that 9 times last year you pitched in games where the club gave you 2 runs or less.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. You got to worry about what you can control. Hit that pretty good. And yeah, I think it was just bad luck last year. But I'm glad we got Dan, and I'm also glad I don't got to face him anymore.
There are a lot of Braves pitchers that said that. That guy was a terror last year.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's saying around here.
Was there anything you came to camp to address this year that you wanted to improve on or alter in terms of the way you did them in the past?
Not too much, I've been working on trying to be a little bit faster at home plate these last couple starts into my sides. Trying to do that a little bit, but really just get my arm and body in shape for the season. Go out, get my work in, and always working on command of all my pitches, and just try to be a little bit quicker to home plate is a couple of the things I try to work on this spring.
Well, that's a good plan. Give your catchers a chance in case somebody does run on you.
Yeah, I know. They love to run on me too.
And you got your first assignment, as I said, on Saturday with the Washington club. Joe and I were talking earlier about, at least Joe thought they may finish ahead of the Mets. They're a club that looks to be much improved this year. What's your game plan against them, as much as you want to disclose?
I think they've always had, a good lineup. So I think going in there, every time we face them, it's a battle for us pitchers. But yeah, I agree. I mean, they've always had a good lineup. They got a couple arms. Obviously with Jason Worth, and if they can play some defense, they're gonna be looking good.
Well, here's an idea. When you get there tomorrow, just call Rick Ankiel, who's now their center fielder, and just say, "Hey, give me a scouting report on you guys." So
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I love Rick, man. He was awesome when he was here for that short period. So. Yeah, I'll give him a ring and try to get a little scouting report from him.
Well, they've got Adam LaRoche, too.
Yeah. Great guy, too.
Well, Tommy, we're looking forward to a great year and watching you pitch. And I know everybody's hoping you get some run support and can turn that record around. I keep telling people you were the best pitcher with the worst luck in baseball last year. If anybody's due a break or two this year, it's you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
2 balls, 2 strikes to J.C. Boscan, and he'll reach safely with 2 out.
J.C. had a big hit last night to tie the game up.
So here are your pitching matchups. As we told you, Derek Lowe will pitch the opener tomorrow afternoon. Tommy Hansen and John Lannon scheduled to go on Saturday, and then Hudson and Zimmerman on Sunday afternoon.
Lannon, a left-hander, good-looking pitcher. Always tough, it seems like, on the Braves. And Jordan Zimmerman, a guy who's been battling some injuries the last couple of years, but he's sound now and a very, very valuable part of their organization, certainly the rotation.
One guy that might be key for the Nationals, Joe, is Adam LaRoche. Remember how much trouble defensively they had on the infield with Adam Dunn at first base?
Well, Ian Desmond's a real good-looking shortstop, but, man, he made about 40 errors, it seemed like, last year at shortstop. I know that's high. That's not how many he made, but a lot of throwing errors. And Adam Dunn wasn't the niftiest guy around the bag. He was a big target, but Adam LaRoche is really good at digging balls out of the dirt, knows how to play first. That should help their infield.
And no, they won't have Steven Strasburg, and no, they won't have Bryce Harper, but chance you might see Strasburg late in the year, and who knows about Harper too. So you're right, fortune's on the rise in Washington.
I mean, they're so set with Ankiel in center that they traded Nigel Morgan to the Brewers.
So we'll see him at Milwaukee after we leave Washington. And then will come right home for the opening week against the Phillies, Mets, and Marlins.
And that guy Michael Morse, who we saw play a little outfield, played a little first base for him late last year, he's going to be the everyday left fielder, it looks like, and he hit 9 home runs at last count in spring training.
So he looks ready. And we are ready for the 6th inning. Somebody's trying to break through in Atlanta. He is a smart fella. Brought the umbrella just in case.
And keeping it close at hand, because you never know.
And here's last night's starting catcher and fastest number 9 hitter in the National League. At least for one day, David Ross.
What's up, guys?
Ready to go, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can't wait. It's a longer spring than normal, it seemed like. We had nice weather down there, though. I couldn't complain. It was warmer than last year. Glad to be back up here in Atlanta. It was kind of exciting last night to play back here on the field, and where we had just finished with the playoffs and stuff. So it was nice to be back, and we're ready to get going tomorrow.
If you've been around a while, this has been an odd last week schedule-wise, and a tough one, I would guess, on you guys with the quick turnarounds, and especially not having an off day before opening days. Unusual to you?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird, and the travel. I think we kind of lucked out with that rain out that last day, even though we didn't get out there till late. That rain out that last night game kind of was nice. So everybody just kind of hung out and didn't do a whole lot. And then yesterday we got some good work in, and then today, most of the guys have a day off besides Prod and Fred. I think Prado and Freddie are leading all of baseball in at bats. Prado told me he's got like 80-something at bats this spring. So I don't envy him.
Well, he wouldn't have it any other way, would he?
No, he wouldn't. He's a grinder. He loves it. He loves it.
How you like him in left field?
I like him. God, he can run it down. He ran down a couple balls. He's a good athlete, man. Honestly, I think he can fill in catching gear and do a pretty good job. He's just one of those guys that just knows baseball and is a student of the game and plays hard. He's so athletic. And, I feel like you can put him anywhere.
Good pitch from Lopez. Froze Kubel. And Rodrigo has his first strikeout.
Pitching staff, great all spring. Your take on it? Anything that you were concerned about?
No, I mean, that competition between that fifth starter job. Man, Beach just took the bull by the horns and just threw the ball well. It was kind of wasn't even much of a competition. If you check how he pitched and the lineups he dominated. I called him. He had 2 hits to. Wow, nice catch.
Nice catch in left.
He dominated the Tigers starting lineup when I was there. I caught him one game. I think he got 2 hits, and one was with Cabrera, who tough guy to get out. So I'm really happy for him. He came in with a mindset of I'm gonna win this job, and he did it. And it's just nice that we got nice insurance with Lopey and Mike, just tuning up his game and Lopey's game, and we got a lot of insurance in case somebody goes down.
Who came to camp in better shape, you or McCann?
Me.
That took about 2 seconds.
Yeah, think about it.
It's a hard setup. He had further to go.
Oh, okay.
He had a lot further to go than I did.
All right, David. See you on the plane.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, David. Those scores, we move to the bottom of the 6th. The Lawn and Garden. Still scoreless, bottom of the 6th inning. And fans, we invite you to hurry. Top seat locations to see the Braves at Turner Field are selling fast. Ticket plans start as low as $50, and they include as few as 5 games or as many as 83 home games. Become a Braves season ticket holder today and get many benefits like player meet and greets, stadium discounts, on-field events, and more. Join us at Braves.com or call 404-577-9100. New pitcher on the hill for Minnesota, left-hander Glenn Perkins.
And working to Anton Richardson, who just made that nice diving catch out in left field. Out of Vanderbilt University is Anton, 5'8", 165 pounds. .74 games last year in Double-A, hit .274, stole 24 bases, got called up to Gwinnett for 7 games, and hit .280 in those 7 games. Here's that nice play made on Dinkelman. Nice catch.
He shoots that ball down the right field line, and Chase Lambden can't come up, and it's out of play for a strike. Glenn Perkins, the new pitcher for Minnesota. Born and raised in St. Paul. What a thrill for him to pitch in his hometown, or for his hometown team out of the University of Minnesota. Really struggled at the start of the year last season. Went 1-8 with an ERA over 8. Went down to AAA and then got himself straightened out. And has had a good spring. Shallow right. And in foul ground, Richardson pops out. Here's Here's Tyler Pasternicki.
Tyler's dad played in the big leagues briefly, played some professional baseball for quite a while, and now a scout. And he can run.
Big turn. And a hit for Pasternicki.
High fastball, and he didn't miss it. I'm sure there'll be a phone call to Dad tonight about getting a base hit at Turner Field.
And here's Eric. These are important at bats for guys coming off the bench. Lefty versus lefty.
I'd say Freddie Gonzalez has done a real good job of getting a lot of at-bats for everyone, and that includes the guys you expect to come off your bench. For Hinske, he's going to have over 50 plate appearances. Brooks Conrad has over 50. Check on Hicks here. I know he had quite a few. He's going to have over 40. So that's sometimes hard to do in spring training, to get everybody enough at bats, but well rounded.
Slow roller out to second. And the Twins double up Eric Hinske and the Braves in the 6th. Still no score. We go to the 7th. Field. We'll be back here in about a week or so for the Philadelphia Phillies. But first things first, the season and our first road trip begins tomorrow.
Washington's pitching staff may be a little bit underrated and under the radar, but they've got some good arms, and you just heard Tommy Hansen talking about their good lineup and how solid it is. But they've got some good pitching too. Just they got to play better defense and get some timely hitting from those new additions like Worth and LaRoche.
Danny Valencia will lead the 7th inning for Minnesota. And a fine running catch in left this time.
Cover it. Anton covering some ground out there in left field.
And Rodrigo Lopez has set down 7 straight men. Hardly talked at all about the Brewers other than their starting pitching. You've mentioned Giovanni Gallardo. Greinke's going to be hurt. But make no mistake about it, the cornerstones of that Milwaukee club are the offensive players, Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder.
They'll score runs. They're going to still have a very good offense, but they have shored up their pitching, and that's what they aimed to do, and they were able to do it. Well, that was a great deal they pulled off getting Greinke. They just got to get him on the mound, keep him from playing pickup basketball games during spring training.
And Markham too.
Yeah, he's had some issues, but he's declared himself ready to go. I think he'll still start the season, and Braves will probably see him in that series too, coming over from Toronto.
And I guess in some quarters the Brewers might be compared to the Braves in that they are kind of a dark horse in their division. You mentioned Cincinnati defending the division.
Yeah, a lot of people, well, most everybody in their right mind's picking Cincinnati, and with good reason, because of their lineup and how many runs they scored last year. They have some health issues with a couple of pitchers in their rotation here to start off the season, so they can't afford to lose them for any length of time. Johnny Cueto's one. Bronson Arroyo's got mononucleosis. Good pitch.
Utera frozen.
But I don't see the Reds running off and leaving Milwaukee. I just don't see that happening. In fact, I think Milwaukee's got a real good chance of upsetting them, if you will, in that division. Cardinals are struggling. They're losing Wainwright was a huge blow. I just don't know if they're going to have enough to hang in there with those two teams.
Here's Casilla. And did not offer. It is ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. I would imagine too Milwaukee's going to play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They really enjoyed their taste of postseason play a couple of years ago. And don't know if they'll be able to keep Prince Fielder or not. So he's got a lot to play for as well. And Rodrigo Lopez is pitching beautiful baseball in relief of Brandon Beachy. 3 perfect innings for Rodrigo Lopez.
Perfect for him.
It's spring training for us too. Time to stretch.
Kevin Slowey.
Kevin Slowey, another start. The game, it's the premiere of At Home with Jason Heyward tomorrow morning at 11:30, part of Braves opening day on Sports South.
It's a dance fest in the aisles.
Kevin Slowey is the new Twins pitcher, and he's very busy on the first pitched ball of his 7th inning.
13-6 last year, 28 starts of his 30 appearances. 13-6 with a 4.45 ERA. This is his 4th year in the big leagues. 15 innings. Looks like enough for him for this spring. Looks sharp. 6'3", 205 out of Conroe, Texas.
And Winthrop University.
Twins train over in Fort Myers, Florida. They've got a beautiful complex over there.
Matt Young's retired, 2 out.
I used to think that they shared a complex with the Red Sox, and maybe they did when they first went down there, but they are both in Fort Myers, but they have separate complexes and separate stadiums, and they're both very nice.
Joe Mather 0 for 2 today. Still no score in the 7th inning.
When this inning started, it was almost like bottom of the 7th, and maybe a mandate handed down by Mr. Jones about swing the bat, boys.
Yes. What did you say at the start of the broadcast? Might be some kangaroo court action if don't move this thing along.
Yeah, might get fined if you take a pitch.
Popped up right side and playable. And it's time for the 8th inning. Matchup against UConn, and that's something you can only see on FoxSportsSouth.com. Storyline today was the Braves starter, Brandon Beachy. 4 innings of 5-hit, 5-strikeout baseball. And Rodrigo Lopez has been perfect in his 3 innings. With a couple of strikeouts. And this is Jason Repko leading it off. Twins have a tough start to their season too, much like the Braves. They open on the road. They start in Toronto on Friday, then go to Yankee Stadium for 4 games. there's been a place that has been a house of horrors for the Minnesota Twins, it's been New York. They have not played well the last 6-7 years in New York.
Chance for it to be a little chilly there for 4 days, too.
Ooh, man.
Last year in their new ballpark, they were very fortunate. They had excellent weather. A lot of people, a lot of locals said maybe the best spring weather for baseball they had had in 50 years. I don't know if they'll be as lucky this year. They're hoping.
That's down the left field line, and it one hops the wall. That's the first base runner allowed by Lopez in the game. Repko with a ringing double starts things off.
Repko was a good-looking player when he was coming up with the Dodgers prior to some leg injuries. Like I said last night, I wasn't sure where he had been because he was a solid prospect.
Brian Dozier is going to hit now for Minnesota.
His friends call him Bull. We have a technical foul on the field, 293s, but Braves have a couple of changes. That's Cole Miles in center and Dan Nelson at third base.
You really dropped the ball.
Yeah. Thought that would pass without any trouble.
Harold checks in right for Atlanta. And Dozier is down on 3 pitches. That's the third strikeout for Rodrigo today.
Well, it's good for all these guys to get in the game for the Braves that made the trip. Good pitch from Rodrigo. Good breaking ball. Again, a guy who's been around. He's got a good arm. He's overcome some injuries. He's been there before and pitched a lot without much success last year in Arizona. But very exciting for these young guys to come up with the ball club and then be able to get in a game and play on a big league field. Some have never been able to do that before.
You remember your first game played in a big league park?
Yeah, it was Candlestick. Called up for, that was a September call up. That was the first game, and it was cold.
And Tolbert, the hitter, 2 balls and a strike. Boy played that one off to the side. A little early.
You know what, though? He saved the fan.
Yeah, that's true.
That was part of his object, was to get some leather on it and keep it from bouncing up there and hitting that fan. Well, maybe not. Got to work on that.
Hart was willing, the backside wasn't. And Tolbert froze it.
Lopez just wants to leave a little lasting impression on Roger McDowell and Freddie Gonzalez to say, hey, I'll be here if you need me. Look sharp today.
He's faced 12 men. He's retired 11 of them, 4 with strikeouts. And now Jason Kubel hits for the second time in the game. And he unloads to deep right. That'll give the Twins a 1-0 lead. Bookend doubles for Minnesota in the 8th inning. So 1-0 Minnesota on a Kubel double to right.
That breaking ball just didn't go down. It stayed up, flattened out a little bit. And Kubel's a good hitter. He's on their major league club, and he made him pay.
They have an interesting stat on Kubel in the Twins media guide. He hit the first home run in Target Field history.
Did he?
Did Kubel. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, was the first player to homer against the Red Sox in their first game of the season in a new park since Babe Ruth did it at Yankee Stadium. And the Twins lead by 2 as Brian Dinkelman chases Kubel home. Single RBI, second on the throw.
He had a good pitch. That was running away from him. Hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. But it looked like the biggest mistake there was by Harold-Chuck, who overthrew the cutoff man and allowed that runner to get into second base.
So Chase Lambin bats, 2 in, 2 out. $9,031 the crowd today on a chilly, raw afternoon in Atlanta. But really lucky that we were able to get the game in.
A lot of day games on this road trip too, Chip, to start the season. All 3 games in Washington are day games. And the first and last game of the Milwaukee series are day games. I'm surprised Milwaukee's home opener is a day game because they're opening up on the road too.
They can schedule anytime they want as long as the roof is closed.
I think you can count on that.
Yeah. And as we heard earlier today, Jair Jurgen's not a morning person, so either you or I are going to have to give the wake-up calls, right?
True.
It's a look at Chase Lambin, non-roster player for the Twins out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Spent some time in the Mets system, played in Japan in 2009. And he'll sit down with his Twins in front by a 2-0 score. Last of the 8th inning. Couple of doubles. Minnesota leading by a 2-0 score. And we invite you to get a Braves 5 or 10 game flex pack to secure popular games like the opening weekend, Publix Friday night fireworks games, Kids Run the Bases, the Civil Rights game, Alumni Weekend, and a whole lot more. For the best seat locations for Braves flex plans, call 404-577-9100 or log on to Braves.com. Carlos Gutierrez out of the University of Miami. Now on for the Twins.
Pitched pretty good. 1 run in 9 innings.
Another veteran of Tommy John surgery. And look at some of the names this guy played with in college. Danny Valencia, his current teammate. Ryan Braun, Chris Perez, pitcher for the Indians.
Sounds like a team should have won a national championship. Or had the talent to.
Here is a first-round pick by the Twins in 2008. And Brandon Hicks singles to start things off. If he makes contact, good things usually happen.
That little toe tap working too, that's new to him. May have picked that up in some of his off-season work with Mark DeRosa and Brian McCann. A little effort to try and stay back, create some timing.
J.C. Boscan 1 for 2 today. Braves have 5 hits. Won the game in the 10th last night. Try to take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
JC's one of those guys that had changed numbers in the offseason. I believe he was 33 last year when he got called up, so
not going to win that battle, are you?
He gave that one back to the manager.
Were you superstitious about your number?
Yeah, I never got to wear my favorite number in the big leagues, though. It was always taken by someone when I got there. And it was 6. I wore it in the minor leagues, but
why was number 6 your favorite number?
I wore it some in semi-pro baseball. Liked it. I liked Al Kaline. He wore number 6 for the Tigers. I just like 6. But I got to L.A. Steve Garvey wore 6. Wasn't going to happen.
No. Nope.
I got to Seattle. Julio Cruz had 6 already, and likewise in Kansas City, Willie Wilson wore 6. So hang with him.
Back then, would you offer cash incentives to get your number? I mean, Brian Jordan, our colleague, gave up a motorcycle to Freddie Gonzalez, I believe it was, to get his favorite number.
Yes, he did. And let's just say Brian had more resources at hand.
I understand. Okay. Shall we move on?
I'm not sure if Brian would like to rethink that motorcycle thing yet or not, but that was a very generous offer he made. It used to be, if a guy really wanted a number, he might offer to buy a guy a suit, a new suit. And that was pretty good in my day. That if I'd wanted to try and buy a suit for Julio Cruz, I don't know if I could have afforded all the gold lame it would have taken to make a new suit for him. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Feathers. It was a little too much.
And Lucas will have to protect the plate here in the 8th.
uniforms and just the way the players wear their uniforms has changed over the years, how they've evolved. And maybe the most drastic change of all was when double knit uniforms came into vogue. I think the Pirates were the first ones to have those when they opened up Three Rivers Stadium. Certainly cooler and more comfortable.
Hey, you think about those double knit wool, lousy uniforms.
You know who those look good on? Boog Powell. That's about it.
Full count. Now one down. I wish they'd bring the stirrups back. You know, remember in the 80s, I guess? They were, and before that, obviously, but in the 80s, the Cardinals team, some of those guys on the Royals would wear the real thin, narrow stirrups, and the socks pulled all the way up to the knees. I mean, they just made everybody look faster.
Yeah, those were a little extreme, kind of like the pant legs now down over the shoe tops are a little extreme, but Bobby Cox still wore stirrups.
Yep. And spikes, too.
And spikes. Brian Snitker's got him on.
Anybody else?
That boy. I like that look too that Anton's working today. If they were stirrups, like Juan Pierre, right, where stirrups and shows a lot of sock. That's a good look.
What I don't get are the guys that wear the real long pants and tuck the back of the uniform pant bottoms underneath their spikes, back of their shoes, almost like they need to be cuffed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. It seems to be mostly a college thing, but you see a few guys in pro ball doing it too. But I'm just old, you know. I'm not gonna wear basketball shorts down to my knees or past my knees either when I'm playing basketball. I don't get that.
Please tell me you're not going to go the John Stockton route either.
Well, no, but I'd come closer to wearing those than I would.
Yeah.
Those things down to my ankles. Besides, I thought Stockton looked pretty good. I will say this: I appreciate the more blousy, looser uniforms that the guys wear now versus when I played, because I mean we just wore them so tight. I mean you just had to be poured into them.
Pullovers? You guys wearing pullover style? Royals had, I think.
Yeah, Mariners did too. But I'm thinking mostly pants. I mean just.
Oh yeah, right.
But the only guy that still wears his pants like that is Rick Peterson, pitching coach.
That's playable in center. And the runners retreat with 2 outs. Richardson retires, or is retired by Repko. And here's Tyler Pasternicki. He picked on the first pitch he saw and rifled it up the middle. Let's see if he has the same thought with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th.
Gutierrez got himself in some trouble here to start this inning, but he's close to getting out of it. 25 pitches worth.
Played, as we told you, at big college, also has some international experience. He pitched in the World Baseball Classic for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I want to go on record too. I know you said earlier that I'm not a big fan of the World Baseball Classic, and it's just that I'm not a fan of when they play it.
Timing.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I just wish they'd play at a different time of season, and I'm glad they don't play it every year.
I'd like to see him play in the middle of the year during the All-Star break. You know, have a week-long baseball celebration around the All-Star break. Have that be the All-Star game, be the crowning event. Everybody be in shape.
Yeah, that's a key.
All the guys, that one gets away from Rivera, the catcher, and the runners move up. The guys that were hurt in WBC trying to pitch for pride of country.
I just that was my primary objection, is that if you get hurt playing in what amounts to, they're not exhibitions, it's the World Baseball Classic, but it's something other than what you're getting paid to do.
Sure.
That's a bad thing if it affects your ability to play in the professional regular season.
Bases are loaded. And last night's hero will bat with the bases loaded.
He won it last night in walk-off fashion. It's funny, we just talked about at the beginning of the ballgame how many times the Braves had walk-off wins last year at Turner Field. I think it was 13. And that was the most in the majors. And sure enough, they get right back to Turner Field and do the same thing in their first spring training game.
Freddie Gonzalez was raving about how hard that ball was hit last night from Morrow. Wind was blowing in. It's a cold night. Ball wasn't carrying, and you saw it. The thing was 3-4 rows up in left center field. Braves won last night 4-2. If he parks one here, we'd have the same score.
Big guy, 6'2", 230.
To third. And that retires the side. Gutierrez pitched himself into and out of trouble in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. And a capacity crowd's expected tomorrow for Derek Lowe and Livan Hernandez. First pitch at 12:30. Of course, Fred and the guys from Braves Live will be with us on site for the series opener in Washington. We can't wait to get there.
What do we have on a weather forecast? Do we know? I know it's going to be, they said something in the 50s with a threat of rain, but is that still holding up?
That's what I've heard. I have not gotten an update. I'm sure Dave will check it out for us.
So we just got an update on that, a little less on the temperature, 47 and an 80% chance of rain, but hey, it's not 100.
Well, we were told today it was
a 20% chance of being dry.
I love it. With Joe O. Simpson, the O stands for optimism. We were told today it was a 100% chance of rain. And to this point, an area drop has fallen.
Rodrigo Lopez going to stretch it out another inning. Struck out the side last inning, but they flipped him for a couple of runs.
Lined and caught.
Good play, Dan Nelson. Woo, that ball was smoked. A little something for him to take back to Orlando with him. Nice crossover step right there on his first reaction. Good play.
Rene Rivera will bat.
Find out a little something about Mr. Nelson we can share with you. I'll tell you he's from Los Angeles, 5'11", 180. No catch.
We know he can catch.
Braves got him as a minor league free agent last year. Looks like he was in the Washington system, but Braves signed him. He went to Myrtle Beach and hit .281, hit 9 homers. They promoted him to Mississippi. Played in 18 games there. So we'll wait to find out where he's going to start this season. But that was a great play on the diving catch a minute ago. Switch hitter.
And a high towering fly ball should retire the side, and it does. Rodrigo Lopez looked very good in his 5 innings of work today. And the Braves down to their final 3 outs of spring training 2011. Twins have a new pitcher on the mound. He's the 5th man to work for them today. He's a big man. 6 foot 5 inch right-hander Andy Baldwin.
Originally signed by the Phillies, 5th round pick back in 2004. Spent last year in AAA at Tacoma with the Twins, 9-7. Went to Texas A&M and Oregon State.
Interesting note on Baldwin. Back in 2006, as Joe mentioned, with the Phillies, traded him for Jamie Moyer. Had all those great years with Seattle. And then went back to Philadelphia. Jamie's had Tommy John surgery. I read somewhere this spring he wants to pitch next year. Try to come back.
God bless him. I said he was in AAA with the Twins. Tacoma franchise, actually AAA for the Mariners.
So the bottom of the 9th inning is underway. It's Corey Harelchuk leading things off.
The Tacoma Rainiers.
Up the middle. Mound helps the shortstop. He nearly took too much time.
He's got a good arm, though.
Here's Nelson. Made those 2 fine catches. Over to go over at third base. Fly ball to center for the 2nd out.
That retires the first number 93.
And now the 2nd.
Well, Chip, it's been a good spring.
Yes.
Thanks, spring training.
We're exhausted.
I think the Braves have accomplished all they wanted to accomplish.
Yes, indeed.
Got everybody their work in.
And spring training and this game are over. Minnesota wins this one 2-0, but with tongue in cheek. It was a terrific spring, and partner, can't wait to get started with you in Washington tomorrow.
Less than 24 hours away. Let's crank it up.
A new era begins for Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves. Our final score from Atlanta today, 2-0 Minnesota. Coming up next, it's Braves Live. We'll have post-game chats, Freddie's post-game, and all the highlights. For Joe, I'm Chip. We'll see you tomorrow in Washington.